From It's a Knockout to A Question of Sport, BBC Two celebrates TV greats, our favourites from the north, tonight at 8:15. But right now, earlier than billed, Saturday's results and reaction in Final Score.
Relegation. He was one of the heroes of the afternoon. Applause from the away supporters. Go! The latest score is Wimbledon go through to the Premier. John Terry's tears, we all know. It was 2 crucial weeks.
Hello and welcome to Final Score. I hope you enjoyed the tennis. We've been concentrating on slightly bigger balls. We have 8 Premier League matches today, 6 in play right now. Plenty of goals from across all the divisions to fill you in on. And if you haven't been with us on the red button, you've denied yourself the expertise and insight that can only come from the mouths of 2 men who've seen it and done it all. Fear not, Bright and Dublin have plenty more time to illuminate you. This is what's going on, though, in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. It's Stoke 3 and Blackburn Rovers 1 was a lunchtime kickoff there. Steve Keane may have got a revised contract in the week, but his side still can't buy a win. It's Bolton 0, Everton 1. Everton haven't won at the Reebok in 3 years since Fellaini scored a last-minute winner. He's given them the lead again today. Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. Goals from Terry, Sturridge and Mata put Chelsea firmly in control. They were all in the first half. No goals yet in the second half, though it's relieving the pressure on AVB. Manchester United 1, Newcastle 1. Newcastle are without a win at Old Trafford in almost 40 years, but they're having a bit better luck today after a controversial bar penalty cancelled out Hernandez's opener. And it's Norwich 2, QPR 1. Russell Martin's first half goal gave the Canaries the edge, but Luke Young grabbed an equaliser, and then Grant Holt off the bench scored within a few minutes of coming onto the pitch. Sunderland 1, Wigan 1. Larson firing the Black Cats ahead early on in the first half, but Wigan just before the break got back into it, giving Roberto Martinez's side a bit of hope. West Brom 1, Tottenham 1. It's been an action-packed, incident-filled game. Malumbu grabbing an early lead for the Baggies, but Spurs looking to extend their unbeaten Premier League run to 10, hit back through Adebayor. So plenty going on around the Premier League. Let's head to the grounds, though. We'll start at Old Trafford. Damian Johnson, we've had bookings, we've had goals, plenty of drama there.
Absolutely, and a hotly disputed penalty has given the visitors a real chance of getting something here. Rio Ferdinand's challenge on Ben Arfa in the area, he got the ball, but the ref, after consulting his assistant, gave it a penalty converted by top scorer Demba Ba. That after Stephen Taylor's attempted clearance hit Javier Hernandez and went in the net to give the champions the lead. Chances at both ends. United keeper David De Gea brilliantly denied Colaccini on the volley, but Newcastle have been terrific value. 1-1. Can they hang on?
Celtic now 5-0 up against St Mirren. You'll hear all about those goals in just a moment, but we'll stay with the Premier League. We'll go to Caro Road. Andrew James, 2-1 now. It was 1-1 the last time we spoke.
That's right, and Norwich boss Paul Lambert will be celebrating a marvellous double substitution. He sent on Wes Hoolahan and Grant Holt after QPR had got back to 1-1, and it was Hoolahan's cross that picked out Holt. Holt getting in just ahead of Derry to nudge the ball past QPR's keeper today, Radek Czerny. That after QPR had got back into the game through Luke Young's second goal in a week. Great strike from the fullback after Mackie's original shot had come back off the post, and Norwich had taken the lead earlier on. Russell Martin up at a corner reacted first when Anton Ferdinand failed to clear, and it was Russell Martin, the Norwich skipper, who hooked the ball home to give the Canaries the lead. They were hoping to get their first clean sheet today. They won't get that, Gabby, but they might well avoid a third consecutive defeat. 2-1 to Norwich.
Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Everything seemed to happen in the first half there. Jonathan Ledgett can tell you what.
You're absolutely right. Terry after 6 minutes, Sturridge just after half an hour, Mata just before the break, 3-0, tidy cushion. And now Chelsea are easing off. They've just made a substitution. Lampard coming on for Morales, and 2 more substitutions. Torres coming on, Sturridge coming off. We've just seen Basinga going on and Ivanovic coming off. Chelsea very much in control, but they're allowing Wolves to come at them. Ward's had 2 chances, but they've actually held firm, and Czechs held firm, and Chelsea doing what needs to be done just to steady the ship and pick up a valuable home victory. Make that Drogba coming off, not Sturridge, so this could be exciting. Torres and Sturridge then, Chelsea comfortable 3-0.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's go to the Hawthorns. Ivan Gaskell was kept very busy in the first 45 minutes or so, and it's still on a knife edge there.
Yes, a really absorbing game, this one. 1-1 into the final quarter hour. Let's see what Sandro can do with this. In fact, he pokes it rather shabbily wide in the end. But 1-1, West Brom have played really well here today, I think. Malumbu underlined the fine start. 1-0, glancing header, fine move. Tottenham hit back on 25. Lennon went down under some challenge from Shuri in the box. Enough, the referee said, for a penalty. I'm sure Roy Hodgson will have his own views on that later. It's yet another controversial penalty conceded by West Brom. 4, I think, in 5 games now. Adebayor, he saw his penalty saved, but he followed in and just nipped the rebound home. It's been tight all the way, chances at both ends. Odom Wingy has just come on. He, of course, has virtually fallen out with his manager over accusations that he's not got fit quickly enough. He even twittered with a picture of his knee in midweek, I understand, to show that it wasn't all it should be. Well, he's on the pitch now, and unless he has his mobile down his socks, I think Roy Hodgson's safe in the knowledge he won't be tweeting for the next 15 minutes or so.
Let's go to Old Trafford. Damian Johnson sending off. We're just saying here what a physical game this is and how many yellow cards have been brandished. One too many for Newcastle.
You can't take your eyes off this game. Jonas Gutierrez sent off a second yellow for a challenge on Nani. You've just seen a fantastic save from Tim Krul in the Newcastle goal. I think it was Vidic's header, bullet header, close range. Great reaction save from the Newcastle keeper. As I say, you can't take your eyes off it. It has been physical, but it's been terrifically entertaining. 1-1 it remains.
Let's go to the Reebok. Richard, ask him a goal.
Yes, probably a clinching goal for Everton, Gabby. Apostolios Velios scoring the second for Everton after excellent work from Tim Cahill. He somehow managed to get on the end of a cross on the volley, crossed it for Velios, who had little to do to beat Jääskeläinen. It's been coming, Gabby, since the opening goal from Marouane Fellaini early in this half. Everton have really been knocking on the door again. They've had excellent chances from Louis Sahar and Tim Cahill on his 250th appearance. Bolton have been struggling to gain possession, down to 10 men since the sending off of David Wheater, sent off for a lunging challenge on the Russian Billy Aletdinov. Bolton have had the odd moment through Ivan Klasnic, but overall Everton have been in control and they now lead by 2-0.
Before today, we're going to take 1 point from 18. Are they going to get another today at the Stadium of Light? Steve Sutton can tell us.
Well, it looks as if they did, although for a moment there it almost looked as if Sunderland had grabbed possibly the winner. Kieran Richardson just glancing ahead and just wide of the foot of the post. Quick resume of the game. Sunderland took the lead on 8 minutes. Larson picking up a rebound after Ali Al-Habsi had failed to hold a Bentner shot. It wasn't until 2 minutes before half-time that Jordi Gomez equalised from the penalty spot. It's anybody's game for the taking this second half. It remains 1-1.
There'll be plenty to talk about from Old Trafford
Absolutely.
tonight. It's been a very physical encounter, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, you expect it. You know, Newcastle just lost last week for the first time. They're going away to Old Trafford. I always felt they had a good chance because they've got a solid defence. And they're down to 10 men now, unfortunately. But I have to say there's been some fantastic shots and some saves. De Gea in the first half and Tim Krul with point blank, header from Rooney, which you expected him to score.
Should have scored.
But, you know, he obviously just if he can hold out now for the range at the time with 10 men. But
it's like an old-fashioned. It was like an old-fashioned game,
end to end,
and very physical. Some real good challenges going in.
The penalty is the big talking point, isn't it?
It will be.
Rio Ferdinand.
The penalty that shouldn't have been.
And Chelsea, obviously, a great time to play Wolves for them and restore a bit of confidence.
Yep, changed the team around, played Sturridge and Mata and Drogba up front. They got those goals early. Sturridge got the goal, and you just felt that Mick McCarthy went to 2 up front, 4-4-2, to try and put a bit more pressure or close them down. And they scored the third one, which virtually, it finishes the game, doesn't it?
We're going to just talk a bit about the Championship, though. It's all going on at Portman Road. There's been a goal. John Anderson.
Well, there's been 2 goals, Gabby, a couple in a minute. Reading drew themselves level at 1-1, a free kick by Ian Hart, and it was headed in by defender Kaspars Gorgs, but straight from the kickoff, Ipswich counter-attack. Lee Martin down the left-hand side, his cutback teed up by Keith Andrews, and Josh Carson hit a deflective shot which looped up and over Adam Federici and into the net. Ipswich have restored their lead. It's 2-1.
Let's go to London Road. There's been a goal. Is it an equaliser or could it be the winner, Steve Lee?
It's an equaliser for Peterborough. It's Peterborough 1, Middlesbrough 1. Middlesbrough had been leading with that terrific header from Matthew Bates, their captain, but Paul Taylor, an equally excellent goal, an exquisite volley with his right foot, curled into the net, 1-1.
Let's go to Ashton Gate, the league leaders trailing. Hamish Marshall.
Yes, Bristol City 1, Southampton 0. You have to go back to September to find a Southampton defeat, but they're just 10 minutes away from one here against a side who started the day third bottom. But Bristol City are a transformed team since Derek McInnes took over. They're on track for a 4th win in 5. Albert Adoma's got the goal. A shot from the edge of the box was deflected, but there have been plenty of other near things as well. Southampton haven't failed to score this season, so it's far from over yet.
And let's get to the Hawthorns. A goal, Ivan Gaskell.
For the 10th Premier League game in a row, Spurs have scored twice and it could win them the game. 10 minutes to go, and ironically it came from a moment where West Brom almost took the lead and perhaps should have done better. Simon Cox with a really tame shot at one end of the pitch. Spurs broke at pace, countered. Adebayor, a lovely touch into the path of Defoe. He still had lots to do. He drove straight at the heart of the West Brom defence and then unleashed a really early shot that I think just caught Foster by surprise. It was a really fine shot, a lovely move. Spurs are ahead here.
Lovely goal.
Yes. Jermaine Defoe, obviously Van der Vaart's missing today, Modric is missing, and it's been a struggle for Spurs. And Jermaine Defoe picks the ball up virtually on the halfway line and starts running with it. This is a guy who scored 5 goals in 55 minutes in midweek in the reserves. There's only one thing on his mind, he's going to shoot. They back off and back off and back off. Fields outside the 18-yard box, pulls the trigger.
They should know that.
All the hard work's been undone.
But they should know when Defoe is running at you, all he wants to think, I'll get a shot off. If I get a chance, you give me half a yard, I'll get a shot off. They let him run and run and run. Within 20 yards, he's still got space to shoot.
No.
OK, let's get an update from Jason Mohammed at the Cardiff City Stadium. How's it going there?
A dull game. Gabby has burst into life after a delightful glancing header from Cardiff City substitute Joe Mason. A cross from Peter Whittingham from the right. Mason beat Lee Camp with a well-placed header, his 4th of the season. Mason on for Craig Conway, who missed 2 great chances in the first 45. The goal came just as Forest was starting to be a little more adventurous in their attack. Lewis McGugan and Robbie Findlay both looking lively. The problem is the ball is just not getting to Marcus Tudgay in the right places. It's either too high or too wide. We've got 9 minutes to go. Cardiff City 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Good chance for Manchester United there. Unbelievable. How are they not scoring at the moment? Kroll keeping them in the game and good defending from Newcastle. But let's go to Ellen Road in the Championship. Adam Pope, what's going on there?
Well, Barnsley still hanging on. Those 2 goals in the first half may be enough for them. All the scorers, though, have been taken off. Bastey and Davis now being replaced with Drinkwater and Newcastle only Niall Ranger for Leeds. McCormack's stunning free kick has them back in it. They can't quite force the equaliser. He's gone off. Pugh and Keogh have come on. Becchio also sacrificed. It's a nervy last 10 for Barnsley, but they lead 2-1.
Let's go to Bloomfield Road. A goal, James Mason.
Yes, an equaliser for Birmingham City, and it's substitute Nikola Zigic, the giant Serbian striker that scored from about 6 yards out. A frenetic finish here at Bloomfield Road. Birmingham did take the lead through Marlon King. Goals from both full-backs from Blackpool, Stephen Crenny and Neil Erdley look like they've got the 3 points, but it's 2-2 with about 7 minutes to go.
Let's go to Old Trafford. There is an assault going on, Damian Johnson, at the moment, and somehow it's still one apiece.
Well, at the moment, this is a performance of heroic proportions from Newcastle. Danny Simpson just saved them again with a goal line clearance. They're hanging on with 10 men here. Jonas Gutierrez sent off for that second yellow a few minutes ago. It was a Hernandez effort that was cleared by Simpson. Huge congratulations from his defensive teammates as United continue to press for a winning goal here. They're all square at 1-1. You can't take your eyes off the game.
That is going to make some edit on Match of the Day tonight. You've got to see the antics that have gone on there. And if it stays like this, Sir Alex Ferguson will be scratching his head.
Pure drama. It really is. But this is about Rio Ferdinand's chat. If they don't get the winner, Makeda's coming on now. There's only about 3 or 4 minutes to go. Rio Ferdinand makes a challenge in the 18-yard box. He slides. Ben Arfa gets the ball first. He plays it onto Ferdinand's foot and goes out of play. And the assistant across the far side gives the penalty. There's a sort of the referee goes across, has a chat to him, gives it. The penalty's it's back of the net. But at first, I would have to say I thought it was a penalty. But having seen the Ben Arfa plays it onto him, it's a challenge. It's a good challenge. It's a good challenge. Yeah.
And Newcastle, of course, down to 10 men now, and Manchester United really making that extra man, very much apparent, aren't they?
There's been a couple of times now that the keeper's actually gone like that, because the ball's gone past him, but the defending of the Newcastle players has just been amazing, twice off the line.
Remarkable.
OK, plenty to keep you enthralled tonight then. A couple of programmes to bring your attention to, though, this week. On Tuesday night, Manish has highlights of the 3 Carling Cup quarter-finals, Chelsea-Liverpool, Arsenal-Man City and Cardiff-Blackburn, 11:05 on BBC One. And on Friday, you can join Gary in the afternoon with Loro and Martin Keown to find out who England and the Republic of Ireland will be playing next summer, with live coverage of the Euro 2012 draw from Kiev. That's on BBC Two at 4:45. OK, let's go straight to Ashton Gate. Hamish Marshall, is it an equaliser?
No, it's not. We've got 5 minutes to go and it's Bristol City 2, Southampton 0. The league leaders heading for defeat. Nicky Maynard has made it 2. Deflection on his shot when he had some space on the edge of the penalty area. He was set up by the star man of the day, Albert Adoma. Bristol City look as if they're going to inflict Southampton's first defeat in 9 games.
And they're still attacking Manchester United, and it's still 1 apiece there. It's still 3-0. Chelsea yet to score in the second half. But let's go to the Stadium of Light. Is there going to be a winner there, Steve Sutton?
Well, Sunderland are on the attack at the moment. It's just a cross from substitute Ji Dong Wong to Kieran Richardson. Richardson bursting into the box, but a tame shot and saved by Al Habsi. Still 1-1.
And let's go to the Hawthorns. Having held on for so long, it looks like all the spoils are going to Tottenham. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, Tottenham's goal, if it proves to be the winner, though, was worthy of any game. And, you know, it underlines the quality of Jermaine Defoe. I think he's been a real threat all afternoon. And now he's bursting into the box again. And Foster has to race out and whip it off his toes. Odom Wing at the other end has just not made an impact since he came on. Maybe not fit, who knows? That's a debate for him and the medical staff at West Brom. But at the moment, it's slipping through West Brom fingers, and Spurs' fine season looks like it's going to continue.
Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Jonathan Ledyard.
Nothing slipping here. Chelsea have been firm, 3-0. In fact, if anything, it's hats off to the Wolves goalkeeper, who made a fantastic save, Wayne Hennessy, a double save too from Sturridge and Mata. One of them should have got in, neither did, which is why Wolves are still afloat. They haven't been swept away. They've done well. They've been energetic, but they haven't yet beaten Petr Cech. And Chelsea are heading for a first home win since mid-October.
Norwich had 2 defeats on the bounce before today. Looks like they're going to take all 3 points at Caro Road, unless Andrew James says otherwise.
Yeah, they can just about say that they deserve it as well. QPR and Neil Warnock, I'm sure, will point to a first-half penalty appeal, Gabby, when Sean Wright-Phillips went down, having just nudged the ball beyond John Ruddy. Interestingly, at the time, there was no reaction from Neil Warnock in the QPR bench, but I'm sure he may have something to say about it afterwards, given the way the game has gone subsequently. Norwich pushing forward again. They still lead by 2-1.
Let's go to Old Trafford. Damian Johnson, we can't keep our eyes off your match. There's 4 minutes of it still to come.
That's right, we're playing injury time. The board went up a moment ago. 4 minutes. United continue to press. It's all happening in the Newcastle half of the pitch. We've just seen an effort from Vidic, who was prone on the ground. I think it was Vidic. Ferdinand's effort came in, drilled back into the area after a corner was cleared. The ball went wide. It's real nail-biting stuff here as United push for the winner. Can 10-man Newcastle, heroic 10-man Newcastle, hang on?
Well, for Match of the Day, it's about 10 minutes long. 8 minutes of it will be the last 8 minutes of this match. It has been absolutely incredible. The Newcastle fans are literally biting their fingers to the quick. Let's go to the Reebok, though. Richard Askham, Everton looking good for 3 points. More disappointment for Bolton and Owen Coyle.
Yes, Gabby, just 5 seconds left of normal time. Everton coasting. Ross Barkley with a shot. Well blocked by the Bolton defence. Tim Cahill has just gone off, Gabby, replaced by Ross Barkley. Cahill on his 250th appearance. Might not have scored. Still hasn't scored for 11 months, but he's been extremely influential and part of a pretty comprehensive win here for Everton. Bolton 0, Everton 2.
Yeah. And Ellen Road, Barnsley hanging on for all the points, Adam Pope.
And they're going to have to do it with 10 men. David Perkins sent off for a second cautionable offence. There were 4 minutes of added time. Leeds still have a chance. They're pushing forward, but they trail Barnsley by 2-1.
It's just incredible, isn't it?
It's a fantastic. This has got a feel of like an FA Cup semi-final.
It is like the winner's going through to something, if there is a winner, and the winner at the moment.
2 minutes ago. Is there a slope on Man United's pitch? Because they just camped in Newcastle's 18-yard box, and they've done ever so well to resist it. I mean, there's been some great saves, some great blocks, some goal line clearances. It's just had everything, a red card. You know, and part of me is kind of thinking they deserve something from this Newcastle. But, you know, Man United scores so many late goals.
United never normally have that many chances and don't
without
score.
scoring.
And don't, you know.
Well, Makeda, his first touch as the sub.
Amazing.
Free header, just put it past the post.
Hit his target.
Fergie's gum is being chewed at 165 miles an hour. We've just got a reading on that. He looks like he's going to burst about the penalty decision, I think, but we'll hear that a little bit later. It's full time at Caro Road. Andrew James.
Norwich City back to winning ways. Gabby, they've won by 2-1 and just about deserved it overall against a QPR side. Shorn of one or two key players, of course, but take nothing away from Norwich. They changed their formation for this game, going 4-4-2, and were quickly rewarded when Russell Martin, the centre-back and captain, hooked in after 2 corners in a row, Anton Ferdinand failing to clear. QPR felt they should have had a penalty when Sean Wright-Phillips went down under a challenge from the goalkeeper Ruddy, but nothing was given. But in the second half, Rangers were level. Luke Young's second goal in a week, neatly tapping in the rebound after Mackey's shot had come back off the post. But Norwich then made a double substitution, sending on Wes Hoolahan and Grant Holt. And it was Hoolahan's cross for Grant Holt that put Norwich back in the lead, a lead that they held on to, and Caro Road is buzzing. Norwich City 2, QPR 1, the final score.
Let's go to Old Trafford. Damian Johnson, a goal. Oh, no, it's not.
It's not. It's been ruled out. Hernandez had the ball in the net. The assistant down below me put his flag up for offside. Old Trafford erupted momentarily, but it's not been allowed. It remains 1-1. The clock's ticking.
At a certain time. OK, let's go to Stamford Bridge. It's all over there. I can tell you, though, Reading have got an equaliser at... there, it's come up on the video printer at Portman Road. We'll hear about that in a moment, but it's full-time at the Bridge. A comfortable win, Jonathan Ledyard.
Yes, Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. Hard work done in the first half, really, and the rewards claimed at the end of the second. Wolves gave themselves far too much to do by conceding early to John Terry, then twice before half-time to Sturridge and Mata, and that was pretty much it. Wolves are no Arsenal. There was no heroic comeback. Czech twice had to be alert to Stephen Ward, but it's a second home win in almost 2 months. There'll be tougher tests to come, but it was 3-0 today.
Well, I don't care what you're doing this evening.
As was sent off for a second yellow card. Then a cavalry charge at the Newcastle goal, a brilliant rearguard effort, goal line clearances all over the place. And at the death, Hernandez, his effort ruled out for offside. Moments later, the final whistle went. Newcastle, their players celebrating away to the right, the referee and his officials being booed off at the other end. Time for a lie down.
A really big goal at the Stadium of Light. Steve Sutton.
Yes, and it's gone in 3 minutes of added on time. It's gone to Wigan. Wigan lead by 2-1. Wes Brown with a back pass to keeper Kieran Westwood. It was an awkward ball for the keeper. He knocked it back to Wes Brown. The ball was nicked off Wes Brown's toes by MacArthur, who punted it forwards to Di Santo, who had been in an offside position. It has to be said, he came back onside. Referee let it go, and Di Santo prodded it into the net. Sunderland 1, Wigan 2.
Full time at the Hawthorns as well. There's been another goal since we spoke last time in Gaskell.
Yes, right at the end, although the game was just about up. Adebayor combining after Kabul had found Bale. Bale's little inside ball was unselfish, and Adebayor in off Foster's shin, I think, finished it off, but it was pretty much wrapped up by Jermaine Defoe's fine goal. It swept the move from one end of the pitch to the other. Defoe had plenty to do, carried it 40 yards and fired a fine shot. That was a man in form, it was a man in confidence, and it's a team full of confidence too. West Brom 1, Spurs 3.
Let's go to the Reebok. It's all over there. Sending off, maybe that was what changed the game in the first half, but it's Everton who've gone away with 3 points. Richard Askham.
Yes, Gabby, Marouane Fellaini got the winner the last time Everton won here 3 years ago, and he got the key goal today. The big midfielder profiting from an excellent ball flashed across the box from Diniar Bilia-Letdinov to put the away side 1-up. The key moment of the match, as you mentioned, also involved the Russian winger who was caught by a reckless challenge from David Wheater, who was given a straight red card. Bolton never really recovered from that, and an Ivan Klasnic chance apart, rarely threatened. Apostolios Velios finished the game as a contest with a second for David Moyes' men after good work from Tim Cahill, who's still goalless for the season but was influential throughout. Everton with their first back-to-back wins of the season. Bolton still in deep trouble.
Big win for Everton, takes them up to 8th this evening, and a big win for Wigan, lifting them off the bottom of the table. Steve Sutton's at the Stadium of Light.
Yes, what drama here, Gabby. In the third minute of added-on time, Wigan nicked the point. It was a mix-up between Wes Brown and his keeper, Kieran Westwood. Brown a back pass to Westwood. Westwood pressurised by substitute De Santo. He lobbed the ball back out to Brown. It was an awkward one for the keeper. Brown then lost the ball to a Wigan substitute, the other Wigan substitute, MacArthur. He punted it across De Santo, who'd been in an offside position, and De Santo prodded it into the net for the winner. In the first half, it was Larson who gave Sunderland the lead on 8 minutes. Just before half-time, it was Gomez who equalised from the penalty spot. Drama in added-on time. Sunderland 1, Wigan 2.
Oh, what an interesting result that is. It lifts Wigan off the bottom of the table, so it's huge for them and Roberto Martinez.
Well, that's Sunderland's 6th loss. I mean, it's just basic defending from Wes Brown, who doesn't look around him, miscontrols, robbed the ball, MacArthur, square pass to Santo in the back of the net. It's probably, honestly, snatch and grab, and all the Sunderland fans, you can hear them booing.
You can feel it go down. Steve Bruce, as a defender, will be pulling his hair out. Just clear it. Just take the point and get out of it.
He's most experienced defender.
Interesting that Chairman decided today to write notes in the programme of support for Steve Bruce of a sort. It wasn't exactly a vote of confidence. Do you worry for him?
Well, people just want to know, the fans want to know, well, is he under pressure or isn't he under pressure? I mean, when defending like that, there's nothing he can do about that. They are attacking, it's a clearance, and it isn't dealt with by Wes Brown on 2 occasions.
Yes.
Yeah. OK. Let's go to Ashton Gate and Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, the full-time whistle's just gone, and it's Bristol City 2, Southampton 0. So Saints have missed the chance to open up an 8-point lead at the top as they suffer only their 3rd defeat of the season. Both goals from Albert Adoma and Nicky Maynard took deflections, but to be honest, I don't believe Southampton can have too many complaints. The home side created more, and they became the first to stop Saints scoring this season. They've now taken 13 points from 15, but as things stand, it's still not enough to get them out of the bottom 3, but their form line is good. Bristol City 2, Southampton 0.
What a run Derek McInnes is having. Let's go to Elland Road. Adam Pope.
Goals enough to give Barnsley their first win at Elland Road for 21 years. And whilst Leeds fans ponder their seasoned defender Andy O'Brien's refusal to play for the club, the Leeds defence failed to cope with his namesake James, who's cut back from the byline, allowed Ricardo Vaz-Tê to score the opener. Craig Davis grabbed a second before the break. United responded. Snodgrass hit a post. They had a good claim for a penalty turned down. Ross McCormack curled him a brilliant free kick to end a 7-game barren streak. It wasn't enough, and even the late sending off of David Perkins for a second caution allowed Barnsley to take the spoils. Leeds 1, Barnsley 2.
Up at Turf Moor last week, Leeds get the last-minute winner. They go back home. It really is such a tight league, the Championship.
I've seen a lot of it, Gabby. I'll tell you, I've seen Bristol Road at Palace. You couldn't tell it was at the top or the bottom. And Palace won it 1-0. It's just honestly, you don't know. Apart from maybe I would say Southampton play exceptional football.
You sure it wasn't Bristol City?
Bristol City, excuse me.
OK, let's go to Portman Road. John Anderson, another tight game in the Championship there.
Well, an incredible finale sees Ipswich lose a 5th successive game, conceding 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of the match. They were leading by 2 goals to 1. They'd gone ahead through Daryl Murphy, but Ipswich had equalised, Reading had equalised through Casper Gorks. Ipswich then back in front when youngster Josh Carson saw a deflected shot go in. 2-1 looked easy enough for them, but then a corner in the final minute by McEnough, headed in by Alex Pearce for 2-2. Worse to follow for Paul Jewell. Lafondre counter-attacking, finding Noel Hunt control and a neat shot in 3 minutes into stoppage time, and amazingly Reading had turned it around. Ipswich 2, Reading 3.
And we were just saying, it is just such an incredible division, isn't it? And Paul Jewell's side, obviously, in big trouble now. Let's go to London Road. Steve Lee can give us the full SP on the 90 minutes there.
Peterborough 1, Middlesbrough 1. It's obviously in the genes. Ferguson's just don't seem to give up easily. Darren's Peterborough comprehensively outplayed in the first half. They even went behind to a flying Matthew Bates header on the hour, but they gutsily dragged themselves back into this match. Tom Kennedy's powerful shot hit the post, and late on, Paul Taylor rescued an unlikely point with an exquisite volley. A point earned very much the hard way by Ferguson Jr. 1-1.
And let's go to Selhurst Park. There was a delay in proceedings there because of a bottle on the pitch. Is it all over now, Mark Webber?
It is. Palace 0, Millwall 0. A game with more needle and a haberdasher's warehouse. As the game went on, style was replaced by sheer aggression, tackles and a bucket load of yellows, and unfortunately 2 bottles thrown onto the pitch from the Millwall end. Glenn Murray missed a penalty the way through, shooting wide. Clearly this high pressure game getting to him and most of the other players. 0.
OK, let's get the full classified results now for the very first time with Mike West.
Starting as ever with the Barclays Premier League. Arsenal against Fulham is an evening kick-off at 5:30. Bolton Wanderers 0, Everton 2, Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. Manchester United 1, Newcastle United 1. Norwich City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Stoke City 3, Blackburn Rovers 1. Sunderland 1, Wigan Athletic 2. West Brom 1, Tottenham Hotspur 3. And on to the N-Power Championship. Blackpool 2, Birmingham City 2. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Coventry City 1. Bristol City 2, Southampton 0. Cardiff City 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Crystal Palace 0, Millwall 0. Doncaster Rovers 0, Watford 0. Hull City 2, Burnley 3. Ipswich Town 2, Reading 3. Leeds United 1, Barnsley 2. Peterborough United 1, Middlesbrough 1. Portsmouth 1, Leicester City 1. And the game between West Ham United and Derby County, an evening kick-off at 5:20. The Empire League 1, AFC Bournemouth 0, Oldham Athletic 0. Bury 1, Preston North End 0. Carlisle United 1, Colchester United 0. Chesterfield 0, Sheffield United 1. Exeter City 3, Tranmere Rovers 0. Hartlepool United 0, Yeovil Town 1. Milton Keynes Dons 4, Wycombe Wanderers 3. Notts County 3, Scunthorpe United 2. Rochdale 1, Brentford 2. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leyton Orient 0. And Stevenage 0, Walsall 0. Empire League 2, Accrington Stanley 3, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Burton Albion 3, AFC Wimbledon 2. Crewe Alexandra 1, Hereford United 0. Gillingham 0, Bradford City 0. Oxford United 1, Cheltenham Town 3. Plymouth Argyle 4, Northampton Town 1. Rotherham United 1, Crawley Town 2. Shrewsbury Town 2, Morecambe 0. Southend United 1, Bristol Rovers 1. And Swindon Town 2, Aldershot Town 0. The Blue Square Bet Premier, AFC Telford United 1, Barrow 0. Alfreton Town 3, Hayes and Yeading United 2. Bath City 1, Mansfield Town 1. Braintree Town 0, Wrexham 0. Darlington 2, Tamworth 0. Forest Green Rovers 1, York City 1. Gateshead 1, Fleetwood Town 1. Kettering Town 1, Grimsby Town 2. Kidderminster 0, Cambridge United 0. Lincoln City 3, Ebbsfleet United 0. Newport County 0, Luton 1. And Stockport County 0, Southport 1. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Celtic 5, St Mirren 0. Dunfermline 3, Aberdeen 3. Hearts 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Motherwell 0, Dundee United 0. And St Johnstone 3, Hibernian 1. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 1, Dundee 4, Falkirk 2. Greenock Morton 2, Queen of the South 2. Livingston 0, Ross County 3. And Wraith Rovers 3, Hamilton Academical 2. Scottish Second Division, Airdrie United 3, Arbroath 3. Brechin City 0, East Fife 2. Cowdenbeath 0, Dumbarton 0. and Stenhousemuir 3, Albion Rovers 0. The Irn-Bru Scottish Division 3, Alloa Athletic 1, East Stirlingshire 1, and Montrose 3, Berwick Rangers 5. The Scottish Cup third round replays, Forfar Athletic 3, Stranraer 0, Partick Thistle 4, Coulter 0, and Queen's Park 3, Elgin City 1. The Corbett Sports Welsh Premier, Newtown 2, Bangor City 1, and Talbot 0, Llanelli 0 is a latest score. Finally, the Carling Premiership, Ballymena United 2, Donegal Celtic 0, Carrick 0, Linfield 4, Cliftonville 2, Glentoran 1, Coleraine 0, Crusaders 0, Glenavon 1, Dungannon Swifts 1, and Lisbon Distillery 0, Portadown 2.
OK, let's have a look at the tables then, starting with the Premier League. Manchester United's draw with Newcastle means they can only close the gap on leaders Manchester City to 4 points, and City can take advantage of that when they travel to Anfield tomorrow. Tottenham's 5th win in 5 sees them draw to within 2 points of Manchester United with a game in hand. At the bottom, Wigan's stunning late win moves them off the bottom of the table, ahead of Blackburn Rovers, whose defeat at Stoke leaves them 4 points adrift of safety. Wolves remain just above the drop zone after losing to Chelsea, but they've still got a 2-point advantage on Bolton, who lost to Everton. To the Championship, Southampton lost for only a third time this season, so stay on 39 points. West Ham will close to within 2 points of the Saints if they can beat Derby at Upton Park in the evening kick-off. Third place Cardiff move level on points with the Hammers, for the time being at least, after seeing off Nottingham Forest. At the bottom, Doncaster drew with fellow strugglers Watford, but stay bottom on goal difference from Coventry. The Sky Blues lost for a 10th time this season, and alarmingly for both and Rovers, a 6-point gap from safety has now opened up. Bristol City won for a 4th time in 6 games under Derek McInnes to move level on points with Millwall. To League One. Leaders Charlton are not in action till Monday night when Huddersfield bring their proud Football League unbeaten record of 43 games to the Valley. Sheffield Wednesday took advantage of the Terriers' inactivity to move above them into second, 4 points off top spot. At the bottom, Chesterfield stay bottom after defeat to local rivals Sheffield United. Wickham were beaten at local rivals the MK Dons and remain in 23rd place. Yeovil won but stay in the relegation place alongside Walsall. To League Two, Southend drew to allow Crawley to move level on points with them at the top. Steve Evans' men came from behind to win at Rotherham. Cheltenham, Shrewsbury and Burton all won to keep in the hunt. Swindon and Gillingham complete the playoff places. At the bottom, Plymouth won for just the 3rd time this season as they put 4 past fellow strugglers Northampton. Argyle are now only 3 points from safety. Dagenham and Redbridge continue to occupy the other relegation places after they succumbed to defeat at Accrington. To the Blue Square Premier now, and Wrexham and Fleetwood both drew to allow Southport to close within 3 points of the top. The Merseyside club were the only club in the top 5 to win this afternoon. At the bottom, Bath stay bottom despite picking up a useful draw. Alfreton won for just a 3rd time this season but stay in the relegation places alongside Newport and Hayes and Yedding, who were both beaten. And to the SPL, Rangers not in action until tomorrow, so Celtic's victory over St Mirren has allowed Neil Lennon's side to close within 4 points. Motherwell stay 3rd despite drawing. Inverness were beaten, so stay bottom. Pat Fennon's debut as Hibs manager ended in defeat in the end after they had taken the lead at St Johnstone. Hibs stay 9th as a result. Let's get the headlines from the Premier League today. Big relief for AVB. Terry, Sturridge and Mata ease the pressure on their bosses. Chelsea cruised to a 3-0 victory against Wolves. 3-1 was the scoreline at the Hawthorns. It was the away side Spurs, though, who took the spoils. Harry's Spurs continuing their very hot streak. Late goals from Defoe and Adebayor, giving them a 5th consecutive league win. Norwich 2, QPR 1. Canaries put the hoops in a flat. Martin and Holt finding the net for Norwich as QPR suffer an 8th defeat in 9 games at Caro Road. A good day for a Geordie at the Stadium of Light. Gomez's penalty sets Wigan on their way to a precious victory in the North East. And Wheater sees red to give Bolton the Blues. 10-man trotter slipped to a 10th league defeat as Fellaini and Cahill seal it for the Toffees at the Reebok. And loads for you to see tonight on Match of the Day at 10:20 on BBC One. Gary's there, Alan Shearer. We saw him pop up at Old Trafford this afternoon. He'll hot-foot it back across the road to the studio. And Mr Movember himself, Mark Lawrenson, with all the incidents for you. And there were plenty. And the Football League show with Manish follows that 11:50, also on BBC One. And then match of the day 2 tomorrow. Michael Owen joins Colin and Lauro for that one at 10 o'clock. Swansea against Aston Villa and Liverpool, Man City featuring. And then on Friday afternoon, you can join Gary, Lauro and Martin Keown to find out who England and the Republic of Ireland will be playing next summer. There's live coverage of the Euro 2012 draw from Kiev. That's on BBC 2 at 4:45. OK, first things first, we're going to head to Old Trafford and hear from the Newcastle United manager, Alan Pardew.
Alan, congratulations. I'm not sure where you start with a game like that. An extraordinary game and a fantastic result for you.
Yeah, we had some Geordie heroes today, every single one of us, because we all had to put some effort in. Even I was kicking balls at the end. It was a brilliant display, first half especially. We showed that we can compete with one of the best teams in Europe, and that bodes well for us going forward. Second half, I thought the goal affected us. We looked a little bit edgy after the goal, but that was the only period really. It was a shame that we lost a player. I didn't think we deserved that, to a sending off. And at the end, obviously it was all hands to the pump, but the heroic defending we had at the end is what we've been doing all year. So it wasn't a surprise that we managed to keep them out.
Have you seen the penalty decision? I mean, it wasn't a penalty.
No, it looked like he'd come across Hatam, and maybe because the ball changed direction, so he's played the ball. But I don't know if he just caught Hatam on the way through. I think it was a tough one for the referee, but obviously you could tell by the players' reactions that it probably wasn't a penalty. So a bit of fortune for us, but we deserved that after last week at Man City. We didn't get anything there, and I have to say the referee today for us, I didn't think he was brilliant for us today, and yet we get a penalty that goes our way. So that evened up, I guess.
Very candid, honest assessment by Alan Pardew there. Let's speak to Simon Brotherton, who's at Old Trafford for Match of the Day today. Are they going to give you extra time for that one?
Well, it's difficult to know where to start with the second half, Gabby. The second half was everything that the first half wasn't. But you mentioned there about Alan Pardew being very candid. Yes, he was, but I don't think he's got any choice, because I really do not think that was a penalty. Rio Ferdinand went sliding in on Ben Arfa as they raced towards the goal, and he got the ball, and it went behind. And I think the referee, Mike Jones, was going to give a corner kick or a goal kick. I certainly don't think he was about to give a penalty, but his official on the far side flagged immediately. They had a conflab, and they did give the penalty kick. Manchester United's players furious about it then, furious about it for the rest of the game, and when they walked off at the end. I mean, but, Newcastle United do deserve a lot of credit for the way that they approached this game today. There are so many things to talk about in the second half, but that penalty really was the key one. Manchester United finished their game with an extra player, Gabby, because Gutierrez was sent off 11 minutes from the end. They laid siege to the Newcastle goal. Tim Krul throughout the match was superb. He made at least 3 outstanding saves. And in the last few minutes alone, with 4 minutes to go, Ashley Young hit the post. With 3 minutes to go, Danny Simpson cleared off the line. And then, I think in added time at the end of the game, Hernandez scored from about 2 yards out, but it was ruled out for offside. So lots to talk about and lots to keep an eye on tonight with this game.
And we look forward to hearing from Sir Alex Ferguson and his thoughts on the penalty decision. Thank you very much, Simon. That will define the game in many ways, the penalty decision, but Newcastle's heroics, their defending at the end, made it a spectacle for anyone, neutral or not.
It's a difficult one because you want United to get what they deserve, but then you want Newcastle to get what they deserve, which was just incredible defending.
You wanted United to score all the way through.
Of course I did, of course I did. But then you look at the defending and the desire of the Newcastle players to make sure that ball didn't go in their net, and it was incredible, the amount of energy they used.
Pulled off an unbelievable save from Colaccini's volley.
Yes,
when he hit down to the ground, he just sort of flipped it over. I mean, it was typical United at the end, Gabby. Put Newcastle under all sorts of pressure. And Dion said, United never create that many chances without scoring. This is probably the first time I've ever seen it.
Only their 7th point in the Premier League era, Newcastle have taken away there today, let's move on. It was a big win for Chelsea, an important win for Chelsea against Wolves today. Here's Daniel Sturridge.
I think today we performed very well. So happy we got a clean sheet because that was a very important thing for us today also, so I'm very happy with the result.
And another goal for you. You're doing really well at the moment. How are you feeling in your form right now?
I'm feeling okay. I know I can improve. There's a lot of improvement. For me, I know I can play a lot better than what I am now. It's just a case of getting used to playing regularly every single game, because it's a change for me. And also in the position that I'm playing in, it's getting used to the fitness of that role. And as opposed to playing up front. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying playing. I'm enjoying scoring goals, which is a great feeling, and I'm happy.
I know you're obviously happy to play wherever the manager puts you, but would you like to sort of stake a claim one day for that front man position?
Of course, I think everybody knows I enjoy playing as a number 9, and everybody knows I've always been a number 9. But it's, this season I've been doing a job for the team, playing for the manager, and I'm just so happy for us that we've won the game today, and happy that I've scored.
He wants to play up front, doesn't he? He's definitely on fire anyway. John Motson is there at Stamford Bridge. He got the second, but ironically, Motty, it was an old head. John Terry who got the first. Just as we were saying pre-match, was it a changing of the guard? Was it a time perhaps Terry and Lampard to move on? Up he pops.
Well, yes, Lampard was left out of the starting lineup, but came on as sub, of course. You're quite right. John Terry did get the first goal. But can I just say something about Daniel Sturridge, who we've just heard from? You remember he was on loan at Bolton at the end of last season when he really came on as a striker and improved immensely. Now he's got himself a place in the Chelsea team. His record, Gabby, now is 17 goals in his last 29 Premier League appearances. Almost Van Persie-esque, isn't it? I mean, he's really making an impact. And if there has been a bright spell in this troubled time for Villas-Boas, it has been the form of Sturridge.
Yeah, indeed. Let's talk a bit about Wolves, because it seems like it's a settling performance for Chelsea. All the goals coming in the first half. It must have calmed things down a little bit. Wolves, only by the fact that Bolton have lost and results around them have kind of gone their way, still out of the bottom 3. Any signs of hope from Mick McCarthy from them today?
Well, it's ironic, isn't it? Because this is the first time this season that Chelsea have kept a clean sheet at home in the Premier League, which may not say a lot for Wolves. I would just have to say that they were a depleted team today. O'Hara and Hunt were suspended. Doyle wasn't fit. The players that were on the pitch, as always for Mick McCarthy, were not short of commitment. There were one or two moments when they did, in fairness, threaten the Chelsea goal, but not enough to really turn the tide. I suppose you have to say, yes, Wolves are still in that kind of twilight area just above the bottom 3, but having just seen your result sequence, Gabby, I think the warning signs are out for Sunderland, aren't they?
Yeah, not a good day for them, and Geordie putting the nail in the coffin doesn't help, does it? OK, thank you very much, Motty. Safe journey home for you. I think the result of the day, possibly for Chelsea, they're 3 points important for the top of the table, taking a bit of pressure off.
12, managers got the vote of confidence off Abramovich. Needed a good, solid performance. They need to beat Valencia at home to go to the next level of the Champions League. And today they needed a solid performance. It was an attacking format. I like Sturridge coming back in the team. I like Mata with the combination of Drogba. But always said as Chelsea, since Damien Duff and Arjen Robben, they haven't had wingers who can go past people. With Sturridge, he can do everything. He likes the ball to feet, he likes to go past people. He's a very confident player. He's a leading goal scorer now, isn't he?
It's nice to have an English striker like Sturridge, a young English striker who's mixing it with Drogba, Torres and Anelka, and he's scoring goals, and he's the man.
He's scored more than Torres, more than Drogba, more than Anelka. Yeah.
Exactly, so that's what I'm saying, he's the man. You've got to play him. If he's scoring the goals, keep playing. I think Chelsea need a player like that in their side.
Let's hear from the manager. He's always a little bit spiky, isn't he, when they've lost? I wonder if he's a little bit defensive, would you say? I wonder if he's a bit happier today. Andre Villas-Boas is talking to Jonathan Ledyard.
3 points, 3 goals. Is there a hint of a smile at all?
No, I think it was just our job. Well done today. We played well in the first half. Wanted to continue to up the tempo in the second half, but it was difficult. Game played with anxiety from the beginning because of our recent run. But the players got the inspiration that we needed to take the result through. So an important 3 points to get back to winning ways, and hopefully we can go now on a winning streak from this time.
Did you sense anxiety pre-match then in the dressing room before they went out, given what's happened in the last few weeks?
No, not before they went out, but it's natural that after the losing streak that we have, that self-confidence is a little bit low. But we managed to get on track, back on track today, with a good display, meaning that this team is with the fans are with the team, and all of us technical staff are very, very proud of them.
They go to St James's Park, of course, next weekend.
tough run for Newcastle, wasn't it? Man City, Man United, Chelsea. Yeah. And what you say is how many points can we get from those 3 games? If you can get 4, you've done ever so well.
I think that the point today at Old Trafford is huge for Newcastle.
Yeah,
absolutely huge. How they got it as well in the performance. Yeah, without a doubt. So they've got one more big one in this little run of 4.
OK. Let's get the best of the action now from Selhurst Park. Millwall were the visitors, and Loris Herdman is your commentator.
Looping long clearance by Jimmy Abdu, looking for Marquis. Was a careless clearance by McCarthy, and Simpson goes for goal. It's palmed away by Speroni, and what a good recovery reaction that was by Nathaniel Klein. Moxey's in an advanced position. Good cross to the far post. Martin will head back. Here's Murray, overhead kick. Excellent stop with his left palm. The danger man is Feeney, and Feeney runs across the face of the area. Barron couldn't quite take it in his stride. Away by Martin, late challenge by Trotter. Well, it was right in front of the Millwall supporters. Has something been thrown onto the pitch by one of the Millwall supporters right by the incident, and it's a bottle. Well, that's the last thing you would want to see at a football match, but Millwall supporters are passionate. Oh, it was thrown onto the pitch and it nearly hit Dean Moxey. Another bottle followed soon afterwards. 2 bottles thrown onto the pitch by the travelling Millwall supporters. Scannell has taken it away from Marcus. It's a surging run from Scannell, and here's a chance for Crystal Palace. A shot on goal. It's an excellent save by Mildenhall from Zaha. Crystal Palace captain Gardner's under the crossbar. The delivery is towards McCarthy, who goes down. This time it is a penalty. And the Millwall captain, Paul Robinson, cannot believe it. Murray, though, for Crystal Palace. And Murray's put it wide. A horrible moment for Glenn Murray.
Horrible penalty.
Awful. And I'll be in there on Monday telling him so as well.
Whether you're invited or not.
He's done ever so well since he come, but, you know, he's missed the target by 1,000,000 miles there. And that is a big game for Palace to get back on track.
Because it's knocked them out of the top 6.
It has, yeah, they've dropped out of it, yeah. But they'll be back.
It's tight. That division is so tight. OK, let's go back to the Premier League. A massive win today for Wigan at the Stadium of Light. Roberto Martinez is now talking to Steve Bauer.
Roberto, in stark contrast to last weekend, how different a feeling is that?
Well, I think it's the opposite end. In football, we all say that it's a real emotional ride and it's a game full of passion and emotions. And I think if we could describe how we felt last week and how we feel now, probably that hits both ends. But delighted with the attitude and the performance of the players, because it's not easy, believe me. When you play well and you don't get the results, it's very, very difficult to keep intact that belief and keep believing in what you're doing. And obviously today probably we haven't been as dominant as we've been in other games. Today was a very, very close game. I think it could have gone either way, and I think just down to probably controlling the small margins that in the past we haven't been able to affect, allowed us to keep a very important clean sheet in the second half, and then show the real belief and really, really close to the end to press so high up with that energy and then enthusiasm. I just feel that we deserve the win just because in the manner that we soak the pressure from Sunderland, and playing away from home is a very welcome result.
So a big win for Wigan at the bottom of the table. It means they move off the bottom. Blackburn Rovers now rock bottom. And just those tiny margins that, make the difference, which could then... They're not going to go on the kind of run that lifts them to midway, but, a few points on the board gives them a bit of confidence, doesn't it?
It's two teams who needed a result.
Completely.
Two teams needed a result. Good start, and you have to, from Sunderland, you have to say that it's a clanger from Wes Brown, who makes an awful mistake at the end of the game when Sunderland are pushing, they concede the goal. And I looked at the fixtures before, and Wigan have Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United for their next 5 games. I'm thinking if they don't get
they're not going to move mid-table.
No, exactly. They're not going to climb to the middle of the table with those teams. They needed something today, and they got it.
It was when you watched the reaction from Steve Bruce. Oh. He went, and he was just completely deflated, thinking, I've got a point. We can start to build and start to move on. Wigan just kept coming though, and kept coming in waves and waves and waves. Sunderland were on the break, doing well. Where's that little bit of lack of concentration, lack of a touch, lack of a decision-making thing you've got to do in those decisions, Blighty? You've got to stay sharp. Wigan, huge points today.
Okay.
Huge.
Let's go back to Old Trafford. We've already heard Alan Pardew, of course, conceding that, Newcastle were lucky to get the penalty. Do you think Alex Ferguson's going to agree with that assessment? Probably. I bet he's livid. Let's hear now. He's talking to Damien Johnson.
Well, Sir Alex, let's start with the penalty. You can't be happy with the award.
I don't think anybody on the ground thought it was a penalty apart from the assistant referee. Even the referee didn't think it was a penalty because he gave a corner kick and he's 8 yards from it. There was a situation a few weeks ago when the assistant linesman
give a penalty kick against, and the referee knew it wasn't a penalty kick and overruled it. I don't see why the referee can't do the same again. But he was only 8 yards from he was nearer to the decision than the assistant. And it was an absolute travesty, it really was. And the problem is that, of course, referees are full-time, but these assistants are not.
Will you speak to the referee?
No, I never speak to the referees, never. There's no point to it.
Normally, when United are chasing a goal, we all expect it to come. It didn't come today. Heroics from Newcastle.
I thought the goalkeeper had some fantastic saves and did a lot of work in terms of shots were blocked near the line, and 2 fantastic saves off the line from the defenders. You know, you give them credit for that, but which made so many chances that you say to yourself, well, this is not going to be this day for us. I mean, first half, Chicharito was at 4 1v1s against the goalkeeper. Normally, you expect Chicharito to score at least 2 of those, and they had 1 chance in the whole game.
The sending off of Gutierrez, in a way, did that kind of galvanise Newcastle, do you think?
Well, they did a lot of fouls. You know, they kept fouling a lot, and of course, you risk when players are on yellow cards. Actual fact, I thought one of the other players was sent off when they pulled Evra back in the second half when he's through and the player had already been booked, but the referee allowed it to play on. But when you've got yellow cards, I think there may be 4 or 5 today. You risk a risk. You risk the next yellow card, and of course it was I would have to see it again whether it was a reckless challenge or just unfortunate.
The gap between you and City could increase tomorrow when they play Liverpool. Is there a point where you start to worry that they're getting too far ahead?
Well, I would in April.
He's good.
Great.
He's good. He's seen it all. He's seen it all before.
He's the best.
He's not panicking. I was just discussing something else then. At the very end, was he talking about a Newcastle challenge or was he talking about Wayne Rooney's challenge?
I think it was Newcastle, wasn't it?
I think he was talking about Newcastle because as far as I'm concerned, Wayne Rooney, he got away with one today. He had a kick at Colaccini when the ball was on the floor. No. And I don't know how the referee saw that, but the ball had gone free. And Wayne Rooney had a kick at Colaccini, and I thought he could be off again, just like he was in the European Championship qualifier.
He was quite critical of the way Newcastle set themselves out. And we said it was a physical game.
Yeah, it was. It was. And Sir Alex has said there, listen, a few challenges, somebody else could have got booked.
4 yellow cards for Newcastle.
He thought other players could have been booked as well.
De Silva was fortunate as well, because I thought he did a deliberate pull, could have got second yellow.
I think the problem is the penalty decision. That's the problem. Yeah, that's sticking in his throat at the moment.
Wrong.
Got it completely wrong, the referee, and Fergie's absolutely seething.
He's also had a little chip there, if you notice that. The referees are full-times, the assistants are not. The assistant was further away from the incident than the referee. Yeah. The referee could have overruled, didn't.
OK, and just a word on Sunderland. A terrible afternoon for Steve Bruce.
It was. And, you know, Steve Bruce, he won't go in and shout and scream. He'll just be in despair that you can let something go, which is so important to you at that part, in that stage of the game as well.
They're looking for the winner, aren't they?
Looking for the winner, but you've got to keep what you've got, hold on to what you've got.
They're level on points now with the likes of Fulham and Wolves, you know, and just 2 points off Bolton Wanderers on 9 points as well. So that they really are in trouble, aren't they?
They are, yeah, and you know, they've got to do something. They've got some good players, but they've got to start to do it now.
Enjoyed your company as ever, Dion and Brighty too. Don't forget, you can have your say on 606 on Radio 5 Live. Mark Chapman and Jason Roberts, who sadly wasn't able to affect Blackburn Rovers' outcome today, are there waiting for you. That's just about it from us, though. I hope you got the result you wanted today. If not, there's always next weekend. I'll see you next time. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.